Is it all good in the hood for Rodney? Is it wrong to go viral? And we're going to unveil the video version of Upon Further Review. Cold Sports goes on the daily. Well, hello everyone, I am Cole Johnson. So glad that you're able to make the journey here with us. And this is what's on my mind today. And as we always do, we get right to it. Here is the topic of the day. Now, before I actually get to the topic, I have a slight one to introduce since it's of the similar vein. Is dealing with the Cleveland Cavaliers' Rodney Hpod. Now, for those who don't know or quite unsure about that name, he was popular when earlier in the playoffs he was called to go in to play off the bench in mop-up duty basically, and he refused to go in. But now he's getting a second chance, in large part to the gaffes of one J.R. Smith. And I think it's good. Sometimes you do need a head and shoulders type of situation in your life. You need to make a first impression somewhere along the line. You have to. So I'm glad that he's getting one. And speaking of J.R. Smith, and this is the topic of the day. So we are hours away from Game 3 of the 2018 NBA Finals, but we still can't get away from the stench that was the end of regulation in Game 1. Amazing how something has happened almost a week ago. It just is a part of the fabric of this series. And for what I'm talking about, well, the reaction of one LeBron James on the sideline after the gaffe by J.R. Smith, and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, after a free throw miss by George Hill on the line, which would have put the Cavaliers up one with 4.7 seconds left. Smith grabs the rebound. He dribbles like he's playing 21 away from the paint, all the way out to midcourt before he throws it back to Hill, and Hill gets his three-point shot blocked. The Cavaliers had a timeout, and he was only 5 feet away from the basket when he got the rebound. So one of those two scenarios would have been fine. However, he chose neither one. Well, LeBron, of course, as you saw on the court, was adamant about not making the right choice. And the reaction that he showed off the court and on the sideline would tend to say that he was not pleased. Well, LeBron, in the press conference yesterday, said that he was not aware that the video of him showing his displeasure towards Smith went viral. Email LeBron James. Subject of email: Spotlight. Body of email. Now, you are compared endlessly to Michael Jordan because you wear the same number as he does. So you would know that every single thing that you do gets magnified and scrutinized every single way possible. You are a magnet, sir, and you know this. You have been one since 2002, and that is when you were not in the league. So how is it that when you would show your displeasure, and I'm not saying you're wrong in showing it, would be something of a shock to you? That is what I don't get. So what I'm not getting is why the shock. There shouldn't be. Because if any of us were in the same position as you, we would have probably reacted the same way. I would dare say most of us would have acted worse than you did. So don't be shocked. It is exactly what you're supposed to be. You are the focal point of the series with both teams. There isn't another player in the league who draws as much attention as you do. So stop being shocked, or at least stop feigning being shocked at whatever you do. That's unbecoming of you. Come on, LeBron, you already know this. Cole Johnson, Cold Sports. ColeSports.com. And that's the end of the topic of the day. When I return, we are going to unveil the debut video version of Upon Further Review. Coming up on tomorrow's episode of On the Daily, we will give you a special treat. Yes, the video debut of Dolt of the Week. That's upcoming tomorrow. And of course, we're going to talk about the topic of the day. More than likely, we will definitely be talking about Game 3 and the aftermath of it in the 2018 NBA Finals. I hope you return because this is going to be one of the most entertaining shows that I think I've ever done. But that's for tomorrow. I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm dealing with something that I've been turning the layers to it ever since it happened. So join me in this turning over this topic right now in the video debut of Upon Further Review. May 15th was actually a very important day. And why do I say that? Well, you had a league who you already know has issues with their players, and more than just a stance of a flag or patriotism, they decided to basically use their bully pulpit and just steamroll a plan without their players' consent. Now, without beating around the bush, what am I talking about? Well, it was that day that the NFL owners and the league decided to get together and do a soft shoe vote about making an absolute happen, which is, during the national anthem, all players must stand. Otherwise, the team with the offending player gets fined. Now, if you feel the need to protest, stay in the locker room and do it there. Now, I find many things wrong with that. One is you can't force things on individuals. Now, I get that you are a private entity, NFL. I get that. That you can set whatever precedent you want. I get that too. I also get the parallel with the NBA, who set the similar precedent with with another person who protested, the Nuggets primarily, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, aka Chris Jackson, who protested on different reasons, but for similar understandings. So the league got together with the players, and there was some strife with the two entities there too, but they got together with one another and they came with a plan together. And that is what the NFL did not do. And that's what the NFL is not going to do, because seemingly the owners have the similar type of toxic masculinity as the players are accused of having, which is, I can do this. I don't need any type of cooperation. I don't need any type of collaboration. Forget it. This is my team. I do what I say, and what I say goes. Well, that's fine, well and good. But how does it work for you when something is pushed upon you without your consent, or without your approval, or without even your knowledge of it? because you broadsided the labor union. And I will always say that the labor union of the NFL is the weakest of the four major sports. It's sad that it's weaker than the NHL, and the NHL has recovered from financial strife. So you would think of all the leagues, they would have labor disputes, like right, left, and center. But no, it's the most profitable North American league in professional sports that seems to not know how to talk to one another. Player to owner, owner to player, owner to league, league to player. It's horrible that you all cannot be men/adult enough to get together and say, you know, I want you as players to look at it from my standpoint. I stand to lose a lot of money here because you make this stance. Now, I get where you're coming from. And what I think is one of the greatest parallels to this would be what the Lions ownership did. Now, back in October, I believe it was October, the ownership group said to the players, okay, please, I don't really want you to protest, but I do understand why you're doing it. So in lieu of you not protesting, whatever entity, whatever issue, whatever problem you may have with wherever, we will support you 100%. We will back you up, and we will put our might and muscle behind it, because we are humans just like you are, and we care about what is ailing you. Now, we can say many things bad about the Lions, but that is not one of them. Most of the other 31 teams can take a cue after them. The issue that I have is more than just nationalism being pushed on players. It's more than just a private entity doing what they want and they could just be fine with it. Because, I mean, hey, we had ABC fire Roseanne for popping off of the mouth on Twitter and her blaming it on Ambien. ABC is well within their right to do it. Just like Roseanne is well within her right to speak her mind. Although her mind seemed to be in another place, but that's another issue for another time. Seemingly, we're seeing these types of gaffes happen. And it starts at the top. And I would say I would look at the 32 ownership groups of the NFL. But we all don't have to look there. We have to look at their representative, the person who works for them, which is Roger Goodell, the sheriff of the shield. That's where we should look, because that's where the blame needs to fall upon. In a league that brings home probably over $500 million a year, those are the richest prisoners I have ever seen in my entire life. And you all certainly are the richest owners or wardens I've ever seen. There's a communication gaffe. There's a communication issue, and you all are intelligent enough. Most of you went to college, players and ownership alike. And you mean to tell me that both sides are so dug in their trenches with their feelings and their emotions? One side about America can't be impugned, and the other side saying you ain't hearing us because it's more than just about America not being impugned. Similar to one side saying we got to make America great again, and another side basically saying for some of us, America's not been great to begin with. Dialogue. Talk. It's simple. You got this. Use it. You got these. Use them. It's simple. You listen to the other side and you speak your heart to the other side. How can you misconstrue anything if you are willing to come to the table to understand the other's point of view? But I get it. La 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 la. I don't want to hear you. I can't hear you. La 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 la. My point is the only point I want to hear. La 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 la. Is all you want to do. Bravo, NFL. Bravo. Because in about 10 years, this profitable league that you know will soon to exist no more. So more than the concussion issues, more than the nationalism that's being pushed, the main issue that seems to creep up, especially now, is the fact that you all don't want to talk it out. How cowardly are all of you? If you happen to like this episode or any episode you have seen thus far, click that button below. Subscribe to Cole Sports on the Daily. You will get one on the daily episode from Monday through Saturday. What's better than that? It's because you made it happen. That's why I'm putting forth that content to you. And if you're speaking about content, there's even more. Check out my Instagram page where you'll get the question of the day. I love to have these questions asked because it's interesting to hear the answers that I receive. And thank you for the answers that I've received thus far. I look forward to seeing the mindset of the intelligent sports fan. And speaking of intelligent sports fans, come on and join me on Periscope as Cole Sports goes live every Monday through Saturday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I like to have lunch with you, East Coasters. Hey, I would love to have that drink of coffee with you, West Coasters. I'm a gun about the middle of the country, 11 a.m. in the Central Time Zone, 10 a.m. in the Mountain Time Zone. Come on, give me questions. Go along with me. Call me out on something that you may think is not what you should think or what you should hear. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, sports-wise or anything else. But most importantly, I thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for being with me and making this dream a reality. That's all the time I have. I am Cole Johnson, and this is Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.